Oh, devotional service always comes to good utility, to the benefit of the practitioner. Bharat Maharaj was so engrossed in the thought of the deer. He was so obsessed about the thought of the deer. And he was envisioning the deer sitting beside him like a small child. So he got the body of a deer, but it is not normal body. So this is where we understand that what is the difference between we hear that when a person comes to devotional service, Krishna takes charge of the devotee and whatever happens to the devotee. And whereas one who is not a devotee of the Lord, it is a material energy which takes charge. So what is the difference when material energy takes charge and and Krishna taking charge? One example of what is the difference is given here. When material energy takes charge, then what is one follows pretty much uh, the standard algorithms. One pretty much follows the standard algorithms because material energy is taking charge. But when Krishna is taking charge, then even within standard algorithms, there are extraordinary aid and help which is given. So now, by the dictates of karma, Bharat Maharaj was supposed to get a deer body because he's so engrossed in thought of the deer. The whole principle of reincarnation is yam yam vapi param bhavam. Even at the point of his death, Bharat Maharaj is envisioning the deer and envisioning that his deer is sitting lamenting like his that is with his son. So yam yam vapi param bhava means deer body. Very simple. Bharat Maharaj did not remember Mangalarti, Nisinati, Sriyati, nothing he remembered. He is remembering the deer. So he got the deer body. But because he practiced devotional service, although he was attached to the deer, but he was dear to the Supreme Court. And therefore, within the standard protocol, the standard dispatch, uh, no, algorithm, the Lord gave him extraordinary help. And that is in a dear body, he remembered his past life. Because of that, he was so determined to practice Krishna consciousness, go back to Godhead, even from the deer body. So his body was that of a deer, his consciousness was that of a human being. And back to Godhead is consciousness game, not body game. Consciousness game. It's not body game. It's consciousness. So Bharat Maharaj is getting a deer body with the processor of a human being. Consciousness of the human being. And therefore he could rectify his mistakes of his previous life to a very great extent, even in the deer body. So he was already, Bharat Maharaj was in the stages of bhava, and he got a deer body because because he allowed himself to become attached with the deer. And now Bharat Maharaj So whatever was remaining, almost he covered a major portion of what was remaining in the deer body. So the next body was there for Paropkara. That was the point. So the next body was just the performance, for the, just for the Paropkara performance. That's all. So when Krishna takes charge, it's not that pain, suffering, upheavals, ups and downs will not come. They'll come. But along with all that, there is that extraordinary help which Krishna will give so that the devotee can still remember devotion service. That is the point. So here it is mentioned that when the devotee commits a mistake, and the devotee is punished for a short while, and then he is purified and taken. It's punished only for a short while. That's all. So Bharat Maharaj punished only for a short while. He just had to undergo death and the next rebirth, and might have taken a few months for him to come to a mature consciousness. But he was given all aid immediately after that because he had full consciousness. He started staying with sadhus. So, due to his willful neglect of devotional service, a devotee may be punished for a short time, but he again revives his devotional service and returns back home, back to God. So, in one sense, Ajamil was punished, but only for a short time. The only punishment he had to undergo was that that frightful situation of the Yamunas trying to take him off. They did not take him off. It was only the enactment of taking him off. So all he had to suffer was just some palpitations of fear. That's all. And immediately he was given another chance. This is the point that one neglects devotional service, the devotee is punished for a short time. Again, he revives devotional service. So this is the grace of the Lord. That the Lord gives extraordinary help to the devotee. The Lord's punishment to his devotees is always like that. Just like Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected uh, Balakrishna Das. But the Lord inspired the devotees to accept it. Lord rejected, devotees accepted. Means where is rejected? Lord and the devotees same thing. So the Lord said, I don't want to see your face. And the devotee said, okay, don't show your face here. Go to Navadip. There tell devotees at Mahaprabhu's first time, they'll give you a lot of blessings. So they gave him service. Immediately they accepted him. So the Lord gives punishment. Short time. That's it. Similarly, Shota Haridas. The Lord reprimanded him, told him you have no right to live. Shota Haridas committed suicide. Chaitanya said, okay, that is right. But the Lord was allowing Shota Haridas to come and sing for him every night. Even after he lost the body. Short punishment. The devotional service continues. Okay, there is question. So nowadays people are attached to dead objects. Okay, like gadgets. So what will they become in next life? I also ponder. I also ponder how are we feeling attachment to dead things? Is it some indirect attachment? Okay, so if you are attached to deer, you become. If you are attached to mobile or internet, what will you become? Okay, yeah, yeah. So the mobile is a carrier of uh, the mobile or the internet is a marketplace of attachments. No? The content which it is bringing is what creates attachment. The content which it is bringing is what creates attachment. So, so attachment may not necessarily be to a pinpoint direct object, but the attachment may be to characteristics of the object also. Still, one gets the body. Let's say, suppose one is watching a movie. I'm very addicted to some movie series, some superhero movie series. The superhero flies. The person thinking, oh, so nice. How nice if I also fly, you know? Some bird body is immediately fixed, you know? Yeah. Then some bird body is immediately fixed. Then a person says, okay, now the superhero is giving a punch, you know, and 50 people are getting beaten up very badly. Huh? And one start thinking, oh, how nice, how if I would also got, you know, like that punch and all that. Immediately some gorilla body, some bear body, you know, some, yeah, you know, you know, they get, are given. Now they are seeing that this fellow is chasing, you know, he's running, you know, he's chasing the train and he's, you know, catching the train and then, you know, either freeing off or fighting or whatever. I'm gonna think how nice, you know, if I also run like this, immediately leopard body, no? Like that. And then they're saying, okay, this hero is dancing with 100 girls. One thing, so how nice it would have been, no? I would have got at least 1/10 of that, you know, like that, you know. Immediately monkey body, no? Like that. So, so by the time one watches one movie which is 2 hours 47 minutes, no, some 150 to 100 bodies are already fixed. And if one is attached to watching movies and one watches 3 movies a day, oh, no, so so we can imagine that this kind of attachments are very deadly, very deadly that way. Similarly, suppose if one is attached to comforts, so one is very lazy and one doesn't want to, one just wants to sleep in an AC. One will be given a polar bear body. There is, uh, it's fully cold. No, it's AC because it's -20, and the furs make it +20. You know, So ultimately, the net effect of feeling is, yeah, that first there, na? So one feels ultimately 20 degrees centigrade, AC, or 16 degrees centigrade, AC. Say one wants to just lie down in AC, this is what kind of body is given, maybe given in polar bear body, with first to create an AC effect like that. So this way, uh, the mapping is that even if we develop attachment for the characteristics of a particular kind of body, one will get that body. Like the Shastras say, people who don't wear proper clothes, they want to show off their body. They are given bodies of trees. Now keep showing off, no clothing. That is the point. The Shastras say that. We have that picture in device also. So the point is not just direct, that okay, that nobody will want to become a snake. I don't know if people are quite weird nowadays, but uh, yeah, at least the normal level-headed people, nobody wants to become snake, poisonous and all that. No? But one who is attached to malicious intent for others and all will be given the body of a snake. So that is the character. Envious fellows who just want to fight other people and poison their success or their peace of mind or whatever. They are given a snake body. That is the idea. Okay, there is some other question. What is this? Okay, oh, there are multiple questions, huh? Oh, there is one, two, three. Okay, two is what? How can we know in our life whether something is our karma or is a situation put by the Lord? Also, when we are in difficulty, then how shall we pray, asking the Lord to remove the difficulty? Would you put it to the In case of Bharat Maharaj, you can see Bharat Maharaj messed it up completely. Although he messed it up completely, the Lord saved him. That is the grace of the Lord. Our acharyas tell us we should not harp upon this kind of grace. This kind of grace goes very much line in the direction of capacity causeless. Uh, so we may be in that precarious situation, and the Lord may not show that kind of devotee. Very much likely. Because neither we have the biodata to attract that grace. Bharat Maharaj was on Bhava platform. He had biodata. So, although he messed it up, the Lord saved him. It may not happen in our case like that. So, therefore, better we should uh, better we should explicitly and strenuously take shelter of Hari Guru Vaishnavas whenever problems come in our way. We see the problem as our karma and take deeper shelter of Hari Guru Vaishnavas to get the strength to face it and to stay through. So it is healthier for us to understand that this is the karma which is coming. But now let me take shelter of Krishna deeply. Let me very strongly catch hold of the principles of Krishna consciousness of the lotus feet of the Lord. Rather than sitting and expecting, oh, the Lord will pull me. That may not happen at our stage. So what is the next part? Okay, so when we are in difficulty, how we shall pray? Our in general prayer should be that let me not forget you, Krishna, let me not dampen my surrender and Sharanagati to you, whatever situation you are in. Let me always intensify my devotional service, my humble offering. However, the Acharyas also explain that if the difficulty is too intense or too intolerable, then there is nothing wrong if we fold our hands and say, oh Lord, I'm not able to take it up. Please reduce the intensity of it so that I can steadily practice bhakti. So there is nothing wrong if you pray like that. Prabhupada explains that if the son is in problem, where else he will go other than his father? But the son should not be like that. It is good time that the son is not bothered about the father. Bad time, immediately father. No, that may not be very good. Holistic. It takes 28. There's some other question. Karma is good. Will you get better type of body in same category? Less karma, bird body. More better karma, Superman body. Uh, okay, so if karma is good, will you get better body or not? Yes, we get better body. Many times the Lord doesn't interfere in the workings of the karma. But karma only acts at the bodily level, and the Lord adds spiritual health. The Lord adds the spiritual health. The Lord includes spiritual process. So in general, the Lord allows the karma to come. He may reduce it sometimes to some extent, but not always. But the Lord gives a lot of spiritual support and opportunity along with that. That is something what we can do. Okay, let's go ahead. This is text 28. तत्रापि हव आत्मनो मृगात्वा कारणं भगवान् आरात्मा समिहानो भावे न अनुस्मृत्य भृशम् अनुतप्यामन आह. Although in the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj, due to his rigid devotion of service in his past life, could understand the cause of his birth in that body. Considering his past and present life, he constantly repented his activities, speaking in the following way. So by God's mercy, Bharat Maharaj is conscious of why he got that deer body. So he constantly repented his activities, speaking in the following way. But this is a special concession for a devotee. Even if he attains a body that is non-human, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he advances further in devotional service, whether by remembering his past life or by natural causes. It is not easy for a common man to remember the activities of his past life, but Bharat Maharaj could remember his past activities due to his great sacrifices and engagement in devotional service. That's just quite interesting. Many times we may say, oh, in reincarnation we studied that the Lord generally does not give the remembrance of the past life because it is very painful. And therefore, only very few people who are supposed to uh, experience that kind of karma or that kind of torture because of that remembrance of the past life, they are given that. But why did the Lord give remembrance of his past life to Maharaj? That is very interesting thing. You see, the reason is uh, for a non-devotee, remembrance of past life would be very obnoxious and very horrifying. Even though it is very horrifying, the non-devotee will not be able to do much because he doesn't know what to do. And therefore, the remembrance will enhance his suffering. Whereas, for a devotee, remembrance of past life acts as a catalyst to take greater shelter of Krishna. So, why is a devotee not dumped into an ocean of agony and misery because of the past life? Because you see, the materialistic person, if he remembers or she remembers his or her past life, then they cannot do anything about it now. They only have to tolerate and suffer. Why the non-devotee suffer? Because the non-devotee does not know how to handle it and what to do in it. And therefore his remembrance is only not here. Because remembrance means he'll break down. Because he doesn't know how to handle it. For a devotee, the situation is not there because the devotee knows how to handle anything. And therefore, and because the devotee is able to handle it, the remembrance of past life will expedite the journey of the devotee forward to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Text 29. Aukashtam prashtoham atmavatam anupathat yad vimukta samasta sangasya vivikta punyaranya शरणाश्रयतात्मवतः आत्मनि सर्वेषामात्मना भगवति वासुदेवे तद् अनुश्रावण मनन संकीर्तनाराधना अनुस्मरण योगेन पुण्य सकलायमेन कालेन समवेशितं समहितं कार्ष्येन मनस्तत् सुपुनर्ममाबुधस्यारा मृगसतम् अनु परिशुश्रव. In the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj began to lament. What misfortune! I have fallen from the path of the self-realized. I gave up my real sons, wife, home to advance in spiritual life. And I took shelter of a solitary holy place in the forest. I became self-controlled and self-realized. And I constantly engaged in devotional service, hearing, thinking. chanting, worshipping, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. I was successful in my attempt, so much so that my mind was always absorbed in devotional service. However, due to my personal foolishness, my mind again became attached, this time to a deer. Now I have obtained the body of deer and have fallen far from my devotional practice. See, Bharat Maharaj is saying here that I became self-controlled, I became real self-controlled. So Bharat Maharaj did attain success because of his constant engagement in devotional service. He's saying that he was successful in his attempt of keeping his mind absorbed in devotional service. But now it is being said that okay, then Bharat Maharaj allowed himself to become attached to the deer. So he's allowing himself to be attached to the deer. Because of that, he has got the body of the deer. But due to his stringent execution of devotional service, Bharat Maharaj would remember the activities of his past life and how he was raised to the spiritual platform. Due to his foolishness, he became attached to an insignificant deer and thus fell down and had to accept the body of a deer. This is significant for every devotee. If we misuse our position and think that we are fully engaged in devotional service and can do whatever we like, we have to suffer like Bharat Maharaj. And we condemn to accept the type of body that impairs our devotional service. Only the human form is able to execute devotional service, and if we voluntarily give this up for self gratification, we certainly have to be punished. This punishment is not exactly like that endured by ordinary materialistic men. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee is punished in a way that his eagerness to attain the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva is increased. His eagerness to attain the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva is increased. By his intense desire, he returns home in the next lifetime. Devotional service is very completely described here. Tad Anusravana, Manana, Sankirtana, Aradhana, Swaranam, Swaranam, Abhiyogena, the constant chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord is recommended in Bhagavad Gita. Satato kirtayanto mam yachantascha dridafrita. Those who have taken to Krishna consciousness should be very careful that not a single moment is wasted and that not a single moment is spent without chanting and remembering the personality of Godhead and his activities. By his own actions and by the actions of his devotees, Krishna teaches us how to become cautious in devotional service. Through the medium of Bharat Maharaj, Krishna teaches us that we must be careful in the discharge of devotional service. If we want to keep our minds completely fixed without deviation, we must engage them in devotional service full time. As far as the members of the Krishna Consciousness Society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness are concerned, they have sacrificed everything to push on this Krishna Consciousness movement. Yet, they must take a lesson from the life of Bharat Maharaj to be very cautious and to see that not a single moment is wasted in frivolous talk, sleep, or voracious eating. Eating is not prohibited, but if we eat voraciously, we'll certainly sleep more than required. In that way, our spiritual progress will be checked or may be checked at least for the time being. The best course is to take the advice of Sri Rupa Goswami. Avyartha Kalatva. We should see that every moment of our life is utilized for the rendering of devotional service and nothing else. This is a secure position for one wanting to return home back to God. Okay, we read the purport, right? Hmm? Yes. So we're reading text 13, 13, 13. Okay. Text 30 purport here. Purport here. Text 30 translate. You were still on 29. Okay. Uh, hmm. Correct. Yeah, where's the Kalatva? So Prabhupada is explaining here, you see, one of the fabrics or one of the threads of determination is to be busy in business. And how to say, not a moment, space we should leave. See, this is determined. So this is corrective action. Not a moment, space is left free for Maya to prepare. Many beautiful things Prabhupada is telling in this purpose. Srila Prabhupada is telling that the devotee's eagerness to attain the lotus feet of the Lord increases, is punished in such a way. punished instantly. And then Prabhupada is saying, we want to keep our minds completely fixed without deviation. We must engage them in devotional service full time. So we have to be very careful that the mind doesn't deviate. Therefore, engage the mind in Krishna service full time. Yeah. So the corrective action is not to leave any time for Maya. We have to understand time is our wealth. If we offer the time to Krishna, that is a worthy investment. But if we invest the time in Maya, then we become more and more entangled. So therefore, in bhakti, one has to be always alert all the time. One may have won a great number of battles. See, Bharat also won the battle. He could successfully pass the test of attachment for his wife, children. He had won a bigger battle. He lost in a smaller battle. This goes to show that if we are just like a sportsman, if he's out of form in a simple match also, no, but within form, he may win the World Cup also, like that. So therefore, a sportsman should make sure that all the time he is in form. That's it. Similarly, a devotee should make sure that all the time. So he won a bigger battle. So he went out of form, actually, like a sportsman going out of form. Simple performance he will fail. So therefore, a sportsman, a soldier, and a devotee should always make sure that he is in the form. And how to make sure that one is always in form, one is always having that alertness, one is always having that zeal, one is always having that momentum. How to make sure that? And for that, Rupa Goswami is like giving the formula Avyartha Kalatva. Better don't give space for Maya. So there is no relaxation. Better always be uh, yeah, no, better always be enthusiastic to serve more and more and more. So Bharat Maharaj, great champion, but he went out of form. Simple match he lost. Let's read further. Now we go to text 30, right? Sorry. Yeah, now we go to text 30. इति एवं निगूढ़ निर्वेदो विस्मृत्या मृगं मत्सराम् पुनर्भागवत क्षेत्रम् उपशमाशीलमुनि गणदयितं शालाग्राम पुलस्य पुनः आश्रमं कालञ्जरात् प्रत्याजागमना. Translation. Although Bharat Maharaj received the body of a deer by constant repentance, he became completely detached from all material things. He did not disclose these things to anyone. But he left his mother dear in a place known as where he was born. Yeah, Kalanjara Hill. He again went to the forest of Shalagram and to the ashram of Kulatsya and Kulaha. So, what is preparation against Maya? Engagement in devotional service. What is the insurance against Maya? Absorption in devotional service. If one wants to go back to Godhead, one should chant Hare Krishna. If one wants to protect oneself from Maya, one should chant Hare Krishna. If one wants to do anything, one should chant Hare Krishna. The more we prepare ourselves with this Mahamantra, the more we become, uh, the more we prepare ourselves, the more we, uh, the more we ensure that we will be able to face the test of man. Yadvad Maharaj is not prepared, so he just gave it up. Prabhupada is emphasizing on constant remembrance. Text 31. तस्मैपि कालं समान संगाचाभृशम् उद्विग्नात्मक सहाचर. शुष्क पारना तृण विरोधा वर्तमान मृगत्वा निमित्ता वासनम एव कनय मृग शरीरम तीर्थोदका प्रेनम उत्ससर्ज. Remaining in that ashram, the great king Bharat Maharaj was not now careful, very careful not to fall victim to bad association without disclosing his past to anyone. So he remained in that ashram and ate dry leaves only. He was not exactly alone, for he had the association of the super soul. In this way, he waited for death in the body of a deer. Bathing in that holy place, he finally gave up that body. So Bharat led a very simple life, eating only dry leaves, very carefully, not to fall away in bad association. And then he's waiting for death. Purport. Holy places like Vrindavan, Haridwar, Prayag, Jagannath Puri are especially meant for the execution of devotional service. Vrindavan specifically is the most exalted and preferred holy place for Vaishnava devotees of Lord Krishna who are aspiring to return back to Godhead, the Vaikuntha planets. There are many devotees in Vrindavan who regularly bathe in the Yamuna, and this cleanses of the contamination of the material world. By constantly chanting and hearing the holy names and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, one certainly becomes purified and becomes a fit candidate for liberation. However, if one purposely falls victim to self gratification, he has to be punished at least for one lifetime, like Bharat Maharaj, because he purposefully fell victim to sense gratification. Yes. So therefore, he had to be punished at least for one lifetime. Prabhupada is saying. And then it's Bhaktivedanta Purpose, the fifth canto, eighth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Description of a Character of Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj led a very simple life now in this dear body. He didn't want to take any chance. Proper describing the holy wishes are meant for executing devotional service in such an intense manner. So purposefully a devotee should practice going more and more deeper in positive service to Krishna. See, it is said that the activities of devotional service are so powerful, like it is said about the holy name, that the holy name is so powerful that if one is chanting with offenses, but one is continuously chanting, he will not be touched by Maya. The chanting with offenses, not pure chanting. So even such a person is saved from Maya effect. This is the power of the holy name. That, okay, let me not become a purposeful victim to sense gratification. Okay, let's go further. So with this we begin chapter 9, which is the supreme character of Jadabharat. Sri Shukavacha, Adakasya Tvija, Varasyangira, Pravarasya Samatamatapa, Swadhyayadhyaya, Yaga Santosha, Tiksha, Prashraya, Vidya Anusoya Atman, Jnananda, युक्तस्यात्मा सदर्शाश्रुतशिलाचर रूपौदर्या गुणनाभा सौन्दर्य अङ्गच्च बभूवुर्मिथुनां च यदि यस्यां भारयायां यस्तु तत्र पुमांस्तं परमा भागवतं राजर्षि प्रवाहं भारतमुत्सृज्य मृगशरीरं चरमा शरीरेण विप्रात्वं प्रथमा translation. So the Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, after giving up the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj took birth in a very pure Brahmin family. There was a Brahmin who belonged to the dynasty of Angira. He was fully qualified with Brahmanical qualifications. He could control his mind and senses. And he had studied all the Vedic literature and other subsidiary literature. He was expert in giving charity. He was always satisfied, tolerant, very gentle, learned, and non-envious. He was self-realized, engaged in devotional service of the Lord. He remained always in trance. He had 9 equally qualified sons by his first wife. And by his second wife, he got two sons, a brother and a sister. Of which the male child was said to be the topmost devotee and foremost of saintly kings, Bharat Maharaj. This then is the story of the birth he took after giving up the body of the deer. Yeah, perfect. Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee, but he did not attain success in one life. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that a devotee who does not fulfill his devotional duty in life is given the chance to be born in a fully qualified Brahmin family or a rich Kshatriya or Vaishya family. Tuchinashri Matange 641. Bharat Maharaj was the firstborn son of Maharaj Rishabh in a rich Kshatriya family. But due to his willful negligence of his spiritual duties and his excessive attachment to an insignificant deer, he was obliged to take birth as a son of a deer. However, due to his strong position as a devotee, he was gifted with the remembrance of his past life. Being repentant, he remained in a solitary forest and always thought of Krishna. Then he was given the chance to take birth in a very good Brahmin family. So you see one point related to the previous section. purpose being the purpose. That a devotee who deviates from the principles of devotional service. Such a devotee is given punishment. Many times a devotee is also haunted or confounded by a lot of previous anarthasya. So when one is facing that, one may get overwhelmed and one may think that I can never overcome this. So when the test comes, sometimes the devotee may get overwhelmed. One may think that where is my devotional service coming in between? Where is my devotional service rescuing? And one may feel that he is getting stirred up. But that phase will only last for some time. Very soon the previous devotional service of this person comes up and the devotee is able to steer through the sense gratification, steer through the vices. So therefore, Krishna can give extraordinary help even in a most negative and ordinary situation. As you can see here, Krishna is giving such an extraordinary help. This is a Brahman family. Let's read further. तत्रापि स्वजनः सङ्गात् च भृशम् उद्विजमानो भगवता कर्मबन्धा विद्वांसना श्रवणा स्मरणा गुणविव्रणा चरणारविन्दयुगल मनसा विदात्मकात्मनः प्रतिघातम् असङ्कामनो भगवत् अनुग्रहेण अनुस्मृता स्वपूर्वा जन्मावलीर्आत्मानामुन्मत्तजलन् बधिरा सुपन स्वरूपदर्शाय आसलोकस्य. Due to his being especially gifted with Lord mercy, Bharat Maharaj could remember the incidents of his past life. Although he received the body of a Brahmana, he was still very much afraid of his relatives and friends who were not devotees. He was always very cautious of such association because he feared that he would again fall down. Consequently, he manifested himself before the public eye as a madman, dull, blind, deaf, so that others would not try to talk to him. It is why he saved himself a bad association. Within, he was always thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord and chanting the Lord's stories, which save one from the bondage of fruitive acts. In this way, he saved himself from the onslaught of non-devotee associates. Yeah, so he manifested himself before the public eye as a madman, dull, blind, deaf. Every living entity is bound by different activities due to the association of the modes of nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Karanam Guna Sanghosya Sat Asat Yoni Janma. This is due to its association with the material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. We get different types of bodies among the 84 lakh species according to our karma. Karmana, Daiva, Netrina, we work under the influence of material nature, contaminated by the three modes, and thus we get a certain type of body according to superior order. This is called karma bandha. To get out of this karma bandha, one must engage in the service of the Lord. Devotionals. मां च योगविचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समर्पयितान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. One who engages in devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. To remain immune from material qualities, one must engage himself in devotional service. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, that is perfection of life. And Bharat Maharaj took birth as a Brahmana. He was not very interested in the duties of Brahmana, but within he remained a pure Vaishnava, always thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. As advised in Bhagavad Gita, Man Mana Bhava Man Bhakto Madhyajivam Namaskuru. This is the only process by which one will be saved from the danger of repeated birth and death. This is the only process by which one can be saved from the danger of repeated birth and death. Okay, so let's stop here for today. We'll continue discussing further in our next class. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantha
जय
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
जय
jai.